Hello, I'm Larry, and this is Carter's Country. I got Billy with me here today, and this is going to be the first in a little series of videos we're going to do where Billy is going to test his patience like they've never been tested before. He's going to try to turn me into a at least proficient distance shooter. They've tried for years to make me a proficient employee, and it's been a disaster, so we're just going to try a new path.
Eventually, they'll find progress kind of thing going on here.
It's me. Eventually, you'll find something I can do. Yeah. And this is our next try here. I wanted to get into distance shooting. You know, at my age, there's not a lot of overly physical things I can do more than once about every 6 months.
Yeah,
you know,
right.
Yeah, I'm not going to go jogging, playing basketball, anything like that. Distance shooting is something keeps your mind busy. I've learned just exactly how much thinking is involved in this,
right.
And gets me out and gets me moving around. So I decided on this hobby, and luckily for me, I've got you as a resource. Today, what we're going to do is set up the rifle. We're going to mount the scope, get it bore sighted in, and maybe go ahead and get it dialed in. The thought process, Billy, and you recommended this rifle. Kind of what was your thoughts behind the Bergara HMR being a good starting place for me?
Well, first off, I've had one in the past.
Okay.
You know, like 6.5 Creed, and it was a very, very extremely accurate gun.
Okay.
We shot that particular caliber out to almost 1,400 yards, which was very, very well received. And so when we started talking about what your aspirations were as far as this goes, you know, we kind of talked a little bit about the 6.5 Creedmoor and also 6.5 PRC.
Right.
And you know, biggest difference is the PRC is just about another 150 feet per second faster, in a velocity range. So, which if you're probably not going to do multiples of these guns. You're probably just going to do one gun does all kind of situation. Yeah. So that's why I suggested 6.5 PRC, because you'd be one and done basically.
Right. Yeah. This not only because Bergara is such a good rifle, with that caliber. To your point, my shooting ability will never exceed this caliber in this rifle. But yeah, I know from selling these, getting feedback from customers and everything, Bergara is a rifle that has really set a standard and really opened people's eyes, whether it be hunting, target, or whatever. So I was completely comfortable with everything here. On the optics, the Vortex, I needed a little bit more help from you on that, because this generation or this iteration of optics is so new to me with the parallax adjustments and zeroing out the turrets and all that. I was lost. Fortunately, again, you're anything but lost when it comes to this stuff. That's the 3x18x44 Vortex Strike Eagle. Tell me a little bit what led you to that as a good starting point for me.
The big thing about the optics is you need a lot of elevation.
Yeah, so that's going to be requires a ton of adjustment with that elevation.
Yes, you should be able to get away without having to have any kind of special bases or special weird rings or anything like that.
Now, Billy, when you had recommended the 3x18x44, I know, you know, from being at the counter and everything, there are scopes with a lot higher adjustments. You know, you've got 5x26. I mean, you've got, you know, a lot of different adjustments.
And stuff like that.
Right. Yeah. What led you to the 3x18 for me?
Well, of the entire Vortex line, this particular one right here actually has the most like elevation, like minutes of angle in it.
Okay.
So a lot of times, the higher the power you go, you won't get as much adjustment in the scope as you do with this particular one right here.
That makes sense. All right, what we're going to do today first is Billy's going to coach me through mounting the scope. You know, I've mounted a lot of scopes in my life, but it's always on a deer rifle. Don't really call for the precision and care that you're going through here. I mean, I was mounting a scope and getting ready to make shots at 150 yards.
Right.
You know, I understand. I've never had a scope in this price range. So doing all this, I really want to make sure I get it done right. So you'll be the one talking me through all that as we get through here. So let's go ahead and get started with that, I guess.
We're going to start with our bases. This base is an EGW base.
Okay, now we're setting the base on here. I can kind of, with the screws already in there, I can kind of line up and make sure that I'm on the spot. What we're going to do is just kind of get them started, make sure we're into threads. There it goes. I felt it kind of go in there.
Next one, yeah, get them all started. Get all these screws started, then we'll kind of get them to hit metal, basically hit the point there. Yeah. Then we'll go back through with a torque wrench. Okay, these are Vortex manufactured rings, 34 millimeter to fit the actual tube of the scope itself. Good quality. They also will throw in a couple extra screws just in case you have an oopsie moment with it too.
To me, this is easier than the conventional basin rings to mount.
It is. I mean, it's very. You don't have to, like get all the twisting the rings in or anything like
Right.
that. So it's just all mechanical, very mechanically inclined, but very like sure-footed. Okay, at this point, you want to go ahead and stand up, and we'll take the top halves of the rings off. Just from experience, I know that from here to here is roughly 12 inches, which is normally a length of pull that we would actually suggest as far as for your head to be not right in the scope and get yourself knuckled,
Right, I've done that. Done that.
Everybody's got to do it once.
Yeah, I'm just basically, like you said, to where I hit metal, and then go ahead and back up about 2 turns, and then crisscross over to the other
Yes,
side.
you're correct.
It's sitting in there kind of loosely.
Loosely, that's good.
Now,
And
this
so
next step, you're pulling out some sort of tool that I've never seen before, but again, I've mounted scopes for deer hunting and a 150-yard broadside shot at a whitetail, so this is obviously a little bit more
complex.
technical.
So we're going to push this in here like so.
Okay.
Line it up into one of the grooves. And with this particular one, we'll probably have to use this one.
Wow. Okay.
Okay. You see how it's all set? Your actual your bottom piece, which is that's what keeps it in place on the actual base itself. Your
Right.
top piece is perfectly angled to where it's going to be a flat, complete level scope right there.
Okay. All right. I've got all 8 screws are snug.
Okay.
Hopefully not so snug that we can't pull that out.
Right. So at that point in time, we'll just pull this out.
Wow. Did I do that perfect or what?
It was an awesome job.
Amazing.
Larry.
I haven't been giving myself enough credit yet.
Congratulations,
Yeah, lately. Yeah.
sir. Okay, first thing we start with is we're going to take the thread protector off. These are pretty simple as far as it gets right down to it. These are calibrated for 6.5 millimeter.
Okay.
So, I'm just going to screw this thing on.
I like that the back part's threaded separately from this, so you can kind of set the front where you know about where it needs to go and tighten it down without having to spin the whole thing.
Right. While you're doing this, why
Right.
not go ahead and do it right?
Yeah, the old eyeball test can be quite a different result than an actual bubble level. I was really surprised when you said on the muzzle brake, because I always thought muzzle brake was a heavier caliber deal. I couldn't figure out why people were putting muzzle brakes on all these light calibers.
It's just a matter of keeping the gun down. If
We
you
had a-
notice, that's why the holes on the sides.
Yeah.
Is because it dissipates that pressure. If you look at it closer, they've actually got those things like actually angled, the holes themselves.
Right.
Whereas actually when it comes out of there, look, it actually comes out this way.
Oh, okay.
Which
And
is
up,
just,
so
yeah, right, which is pushing the gun down.
they even went that much further with it.
Okay, we've got everything pretty much mounted up and good to go as far as the rifle. We got everything scope mounts all torqued correctly. Larry did a great job with that. So you get a gold star so
All
far
right.
today. We'll see what happens when the shooting comes up here. in
Yeah,
a
well
little bit.
that'll be a separate star.
Larry was kind of bringing his old-fashioned Boresighting in, so we're going to put the 6x stud on here. Yeah, I know it's not old-fashioned, is it?
Yeah, it's classic. It's vintage.
We just take a quick look to the Boresighter, and if you'd like to come look at it, Larry, you can kind of see it's pretty close.
Well, I'm in the grid.
Yeah, just fine. But to make your adjustment, just you're going to spin the whole knob. I'm sorry.
Pull it up, isn't it? Yeah.
You pull it up and lock it. Okay, then take your windage cap off.
Yeah, the windage isn't going to be too much at all.
We got everything done inside the room inside there as far as the scope mounts, let's go Boresighting, so feel pretty good about things. At this point in time, we're going to go ahead and start taking the first shot with it.
Okay.
We'll do a release on paper at 100 yards, and then we'll start the adjustment process from there.
All right.
Got any questions or anything?
No, I just a little nervous. Usually when I'm shooting, I'm alone in a deer stand, so having an audience got me a little nervous. But
Don't worry, sir. Don't feel the pressure. We're fine.
Save the harshest comments for off camera. That's all I'm asking.
Sure thing, buddy.
I don't want,
Anytime.
20 years from now, I don't want my family watching this and going, man,
Don't worry. We'll remember.
you'll take care of me. Yeah, people here have a long memory depending on what you do.
Okay. All right, we did hit paper, so that's a good start.
Okay.
So we're about 630, about 6 inches low.
Okay, right. Yeah, windage looks pretty good, but yeah, I see we're quite a bit low.
Okay, so go ahead and take your windage cap off first. Okay, let's take 2 clicks to the right, which is roughly 1/2 inch. Let's come up about half as much as we think we should, so let's come up 12 clicks. Just for reference sake, just so you know, these things have these numbers on here, and you guys just count. You can count.
Oh,
there.
okay. I was actually listening
But I'm just for future reference.
Much fancier scope than I've ever worked with.
You're doing great, Larry.
I nailed paper at 100 yards with a, yeah.
Congrats, man! Congrats.
Yeah.
All right. So we're about 7 o'clock, about 4 inches out. All right, perfect. Okay, so everything's moved in. Your windage is perfect now.
Okay.
All right. So what I would do at this point, we're 3 rounds into the situation, so the barrels kind of get like fouled, as they say.
Yeah.
So everything's kind of get settled in place a little bit. So it takes about 3 rounds for really for the gun to kind of like get going in the right direction.
Okay.
So at this point, what I would do, I would come up an additional 8 clicks or 2 MOA. Bingo! That's an Xer.
You got both sides, right?
Yeah, I'm trying to look at it through here, but there's so much stuff in that tree that I'm trying to make sure I saw what I'm supposed to be seeing.
We're both like, why aren't you happy, Larry?
Obviously getting this thing dialed into this point with 4 shots, probably wouldn't have got it done in 4 without your help. So thank you for that. As far as this scope and this being a first of a kind for me, having MOA adjustments marked clearly for you like that is a really big difference, because the scopes I've used before, you got a coin out of your pocket, you tried to click it, you tried to listen and all that. This thing is just a Cadillac. It makes me want to change my other scopes out. I didn't realize what I was missing here.
Uno más, por favor. Oopsie.
Yeah, I pulled it left, didn't I?
And down.
Yeah. Should I do another one?
Yeah, do one more.
I knew when it went off. That one, I Larry'd that one.
There you go.
All right.
Call it a day for right now. Okay, Larry, it's been great fun. I think we've all learned a little bit today, and some more than others.
Yeah, I'm the one that's hopefully learned a lot.
Well, good. Anyway, so in retrospect, the guns are doing well. It seemed to be a very well put together package now for you. How did you like the trigger on the gun, sir?
Trigger was great. I was trying to make sure I was doing all the discipline, the trigger discipline I've been taught since I was a kid, doing all that, and the trigger was, I never even thought about it. Okay. It was just there doing what it needed to do. To me, if it's like umpiring a baseball game. If you leave the ballpark and nobody's talking about the umpire, he did a good job. Right. If I'm done shooting for the day and I have no thoughts about the trigger, it's a great trigger. Right. So kind of the same thing. It's, you know, it fit right in, the scope. I'm still kind of getting used to the clarity of it, and you know, you got a lot of information there, but at the end of the day, crosshairs is crosshairs, and that's the only place I really need to be right now.
We have that, and we'll also explore the actual cheek piece itself is actually raisable.
Right.
And so, you know, we probably need to raise that so you get a better cheek weld on the actual stock right there and make it a little more comfortable. You see through the scope where you're not kind of like fumbling around as much for it.
Yeah.
It'll be more of a natural thing where when you crawl up on the gun, you get on the gun, everything is right there with your eyes.
There and ready to go, yeah.
So we'll get more involved in that in the second video. We'll start doing it after 500-yard shoots.
I think we proved today beyond anything else, you picked the right gun and the right scope, so thank you.
Okay. Anytime, sir. We're glad to help you out.
All right, Billy. Well, I'm glad you were there. I probably saved some ammunition.
Hopefully.
Being kind of coached and talked through this. I'm really excited to take this thing further, start pushing it, kind of stretching its legs a little bit. Our goal here is to have a 3-part series. Today was getting the gun set up, getting it sighted in 100 yards. Part 2, we're going to go 2 to 500 yards. And if he hasn't choked me to death during part 2, we'll do a part 3 and go 500 yards and beyond. And if we complete all 3 of those, I'm going to be very happy and pretty proud of myself, to be honest with you. Hope you've enjoyed today. Hope you'll follow up and watch the next 2. Be sure to hit the like button, subscribe, and remember, if you've ever shopped, shot, or hunted with us, you're already part of the Carter's Country family. Till next time, adios. I went into this pretty blind.
The firing line is now clear. It's all clear to change targets. Please take your targets in the direction of your bench number 0, away from the post. It is all clear to change targets. For safety's sake, do not handle any